Indie Film Cafe. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I'm here with...
Paulie presents known as the Moo Cow. Moo.
Moo. All right, well, this was what, a Fuzzy Dog Productions, you know?
Fuzzy Puppy or something?
Fuzzy Puppy, I'm so sorry. Fuzzy Puppy Productions. And also, I guess... bunch of other things, but Wild Eye Releasing put this movie out, so thank you, Wild Eye Releasing, for sending us this film, because we have been very much looking forward to it.
Yay! And what is the movie?
And the movie is...
Todd Sheet's
Bonehill
Road.
Yes, not Wolf Road, which there is a Wolf Road in it too, which is...
They cross.
They cross, which is interesting. Maybe
Right.
maybe the werewolves got lost.
It's
and
possible.
They were in the wrong road.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
like,
know.
werewolves, where?
Where? They're wolves.
Werewolves.
Good old young Frankenstein joke. Anyway, so what did we think of Bonehill Road? Well, you had seen it before,
I'd seen the screener.
the screener.
This
so.
was largely what I remember too. So I don't know that there were a whole lot of changes from the screener. So I mean, maybe there's some extra music or a few other little bits added in. I don't remember there being quite as many credits as before, but I think it was largely the same thing that I saw before. So I had been kind of prepped for this. But you, not only did you not expect this come from Wild Eye Releases, this was kind of brand new for you, right?
I think it's a brand new period. I don't even know if it's been released yet.
I don't think so.
It's supposed to be in October, so if it hasn't been released yet, hey, get it when it comes out, because
There you go.
honestly, we support it. We love Todd Sheets.
Todd Sheets.
But we'll get into that. We'll get to actual more of the movie. But let me read you kind of what the back of the thing says for the story, and we'll kind of go more into the story a little bit. But Emily and Eden Stevens escape a violent domestic abuse situation, only to enter into another more dangerous one. Terrified and alone, they are stranded in the woods, hunted by a werewolf. Not one werewolf, but 3 werewolves. And we'll get into that in a little bit. When they find shelter in a nearby home, things only get worse when they stumble upon a psychotic killer and his hostages. They must all work together to get out alive, as a family of werewolves and a deranged serial killer close in for the kill.
Poor Emily has a very bad day.
Very, very
This
bad.
is the worst day I think I've ever seen any person have.
I mean, it doesn't have, like, you know how when a lot of movies they have like the light at the end of the tunnel, and like everything that goes bad, things start going better later.
Yeah.
Kind of like life in general. Like
Yeah.
sometimes there's bad things that happen, but then some down the line the good starts happening again. But then the bad happens again.
Yeah,
And
there's
then
no good in this.
There's literally no
Emily.
real good for Emily.
I
Emily's
feel bad
the
for
mother.
her character.
Emily's the mother, and Eden's the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And we first meet her. We meet Emily at her house, and she's getting like punched and beaten by her husband, I guess.
Sadistic, drunk, asshole husband.
Yeah, which I don't understand why they're together. Why she doesn't just divorce him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he kind of explains it. She says that if he tries, that he's just going to get out, you know, and be able to beat the hell out of him even more.
Well, I'm saying divorcing is different. Like when it's like
restraining
that.
orders and all
Restraining
that. Yeah,
orders, things
there are
like
ways.
that. There are ways.
You know, I don't know. There's emotional reasons why some people stay with their abusers, and that's a whole other thing.
That's not our place,
right.
but anyway.
If for purposes of this film, it's kind of giving you the background for these two characters and showing you how they go from the frying pan into the fire into the blast furnace, basically.
Exactly.
So things don't really get better. They just got from one degree of bad to worse and to much worse.
Exactly. So basically, they decide to leave. They get out. They're able to drive away, and they're going to Grandpa's house. And Grandpa, I guess, lives outside of...
Castle Rock is what they said, I thought.
Well, they mentioned they have to go through Castle Rock or something to get to another town or whatever. So they mentioned Castle Rock, which nice Stephen King, like, you know, kind of...
Yeah, and it's funny because I think Independence, Missouri, I thought I saw flashed on the screen that's where it was either filmed or where part of it was filmed. And there was definitely corn there are definitely scenes where there's corn there. So I can't figure there's a lot of corn grown in Maine, which is where most of the Stephen King stuff happens. But yeah, Missouri seemed definitely center of the country ish.
Maybe they had another Castle Rock in Missouri.
It's
Who knows?
certainly possible.
But so anyway, they go on Bonehill Road. Actually, before that, they stop in at a I guess a rest stop to take care of her face and do some stuff. And she ends up they end up running into this guy, very creepy dude who now. I guess these are spoilers, so I was not planning to do spoilers, but we're kind of...
You can't review a film without giving some spoilers. We're not going to give everything away, but...
We're going to try not to give everything away, but we kind of already sort of told a lot of what, just that story kind of told a lot. But anyway, they run into this guy, and he's really creepy looking, and he kind of tells them, be careful of that one road. And I don't even think he said Bonehill Road, did he?
No, he said Route 9.
Route 9, it's
and
closed.
He kind of introduces himself and where are you ladies headed and all this other sort of extra stuff. And they're like trying to walk away and ignore him and make him go away. And he's just being all creepy and shit.
Of course. Because that's what creepy people do.
Although I think that was like a rest stop, right? It wasn't the police station.
That's what I'm saying. It was a rest stop.
Yeah.
So you go on the rest stop, they walk by, the guy sees them like leaving, and he basically is very intrusive and asking them where they're going, and then
and I guess that's his way of baiting the trap, maybe, because he's telling them not to take a certain road, to take this other road.
Right. He's trying to basically. Well, we'll get into that in a second. So they're driving down the road some more, and they accidentally hit some animal that they
fuzzy.
can't tell what it is. So they hit the animal. The animal runs off. They have no idea what it was.
Oh, and they crash into a tree. I mean, that
well, no, and then the animal comes back after them, right? And like scratches their tire. Then they crash into the tree because the tire pops, and it looked real. Like it looked like the tire really might have popped, or whatever. So they're, can't control the car. They end up crashing into a tree. And so they're in the middle of nowhere, stranded.
So you can see how this is going. Domestic abuse, followed by a fight, followed by running away, followed by...
Creepy guy,
followed by hitting an animal, followed by, an accident, a car accident where she hits her head and she's bleeding, followed by now we're stranded and our phone is dying.
Phone is dying. They call it the
Not a good night.
They call it the grandpa, but I guess the phone dies, because of service or whatever. And they can't figure out what to do. So they look at the car tire, realize it's slashed, something did it, but the car wouldn't even start anyway. So it didn't really matter that the tire got slashed, because when they crashed into the thing, it's not working. So even if they put a tire on it, But what I liked about that was that there was a lot of scenes where it felt real.
Oh, yeah. Mom is definitely trying to salvage the situation as best she can. The teenage girl's kind of freaking out.
Yeah, and so she,
very realistic.
They're having dialogue about, where's the spare? And then apparently the father had taken it to a party, and the kid.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, so the dad not only screwed them by, like, beating the crap out of her, but like screwed them because they don't even have a spare tire. But it wouldn't have even worked because the car wouldn't
right
turn
when
over.
they hit the tree, and the engine's pretty much toast.
Yeah, so they're like, "What are we gonna do?" And it doesn't matter because not very long after that, 3 werewolves come into the house.
Arg.
Yeah, and trying to grab at them and do everything, and then so they end up. Like escaping from the werewolves
in a very unique way, actually, because they break into the car and they can't get out through the doors, so they have to find another way out. And I won't spoil it because it's kind of a fun scene. It's actually one of my favorite parts of the movie is how they get away from that. But they do, and then they have to end up running down the road.
And they run into this. I guess they run into this house. Where this sadistic killer is there.
Yeah,
and
there's our buddy again.
Yeah, the creepy guy, and that's it. Like I don't want to go into more because really, literally, there'll be nothing but spoilers and stuff. I'll just say Linnea Quigley's in those scenes, very briefly, but as I've understood from the behind the scenes that she was there for maybe one day, and stuff like that, 1 or 2 days, and so I'm gonna guess one because like. Really, it seemed like all the shots of her were probably filmed like the same day or whatever at the same time.
That makes sense.
And stuff, and I mean, she was wonderful in it, but she's wonderful in everything. I mean, I love her, and even the cheesiest stuff that she does, she rocks it.
Right. She has a certain level of class. She's cool.
So, but yeah, the things that I guess we didn't really like about the movie were we both agree that the torture porn aspect of stuff, when because that's what it's sadistic. He's not even a sadistic killer; he's a sadistic torturer, and it's a little bit too much.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's kind of a mashup between a traditional werewolf film and something that's a little bit more, torture porny. Here's a sadistic killer, and the camera is going to linger on every single little horrific thing that he does. I mean, it's interesting to do a mashup that kind of way. I mean, at this point in my life, I don't need to see that kind of stuff. I understand that there's a lot of work put in special effects, and I understand that there's a lot of cool stuff that's done. But as an entertainment bit, I just don't find that particularly entertaining at this point. And honestly, Todd Sheets has done this before. And I know stuff keeps improving and all that, but he doesn't need to really do that. What I liked about this movie is the characters were really good. The dialogue was very realistic. It was shot in a really, really good way. And there was a lot more plot and a lot more story that I was interested in. So for me, having all of the gore stuff, while I understand that that's an attraction to a certain portion of Todd Sheets' fans, it doesn't do anything for me. It just waters the story down, in my opinion.
which is fine because like we're gonna tell you this stuff and you're gonna want to run out and get it if you like that kind of stuff.
You should definitely check it out. It's definitely worth owning, especially because with Indie Film Cafe we have talked about some of the early stuff that Todd Sheets has done, and a lot of stuff that he probably doesn't even want us to talk about or deal with. But
I moved on past.
But there's a certain charm to those kind of films that are just a lot of fun. Whereas later on, his movies are getting better, not quite as much fun in my opinion, just for me personally, because again, I'm just not into the whole gore, heavy gore stuff.
And look, I'm okay with it, but when it becomes like too long, and I'm staring at this stuff, and the guy is just really laughing while he's doing these things, but it's not moving the story along a little bit. I get kind of like I don't really need to see this.
Right.
I mean, if they trimmed some of it down, I think it would have been better.
It wasn't. It wasn't too much. It wasn't like a movie we had. I guess we could talk about.
Well, no.
We've talked a couple other movies that have done this where it's just gone on and it's just that over and over and over and over again. It's not like that in here. It's still a little too much in my opinion. But it doesn't. It's not a torture porn film. I mean, that's where the whole thing is nothing but that. It's not like that.
It's not like half the movie is that, and not even half the movie. Maybe like 25 minutes of the movie is the stuff with the guy. What's his name? His character name. They say his name like a bunch of times.
I forgot.
I forgot to, and I don't have.
Sorry, cow brain. This is what happens.
Yeah, But yeah, so Douglas Epps' character, he was wonderful. I loved him. He was a great bad guy. He had a lot of fun. He might have been a little too over the top at times, but most of the time he cracked me up. Like I felt like he was at least enjoying this kind of sadistic role that. From the behind the scenes that I could see, this guy is just a normal everyday actor guy, Douglas Epps, and he got to like have a lot of fun with that, kind of thing, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it a little bit less just because the guy wouldn't die.
No, I think I enjoyed that the most.
Way too much.
I always love that. I love when guys I like the characters just don't die and they keep going. Like you remember the first Buffy movie where was it Paul Rubens' character
Right,
just
right.
wouldn't die, and that's just funny to me.
I do like things, even a fantasy or a horror film. I do like to be grounded in a little bit of reality. So.
Oh, it was, and then that was the great thing about this movie is a lot of times it was grounded in reality.
And that's just it. The vast majority of it was, so it made it even more jarring when this guy is just considering what he's going through, still keeps on going. But again, that's just a small part of it, and
he's the energizer torturer.
Right.
Keeps going and going and going.
The thing is that the movie's really about the mother and the daughter and their relationship and what happens before, what happens to put them on this road, and what happens afterwards.
Like, how do they survive?
Right.
Do they not survive?
Right.
What's going to happen to them?
And that's great. I mean, that really is a departure and an elevation, in my opinion, of Todd Sheets and his writing and his directing, and full marks, because things are looking good as far as I'm concerned. The film looked great. There was a lot of good cinematography in it. There was a lot of good technical stuff going on. You could tell that he's got some folks who are really into making these films and that they really want to do a good job. And it just seems like he's really going in a very positive direction. I mean, to me, at this point, I think he can kind of leave some of the gore stuff behind a little bit, I think he can make that next step up. I think he has honed his craft to the point where he doesn't need to rely on that, but I mean, that's just a personal taste of mine.
Well, his next movie is Clownado.
I can't wait for Clownado.
I am excited about that one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, is he doing an Indiegogo for that right now?
I don't know. We'll have to check it out.
We'll have to check that out. If he is, we'll post a link at the bottom where you can support his next film, because
who doesn't love a creepy clown movie?
not just creepy clown, but clowns is stuck in a tornado. This sounds awesome.
The way it should be.
I know, and it sounds like he's going back to his roots of goofy, fun, silly movies. Because I think honestly, I feel like Todd Sheets, from what I've seen of his earlier work, and I haven't seen enough of his earlier work. I need to see more of that. I'm sure he's got more of the stuff that I need to check out, but. Check out some of his earlier work and some of his, some of his newer. I still need to see Dreaming of Purple Neon.
Oh yeah, Dreaming Purple Neon.
Dreaming Purple Neon. I need to see that. Which, I mean, I've heard is much like this, where it's more gore.
We'll
effects.
review it at some point.
Yeah.
We'll review it.
So.
But it's kind of different. It's different. Although I believe in the extra bits they talk about how the crew is largely the same and a lot of the people are largely the same. So that's an interesting thing there. But yeah, it's just to me this could have had a little bit more fun, maybe a little bit less serious. I mean, that I would have liked to have seen a little bit of that too. But overall, as far as a werewolf movie, if you're looking for a werewolf film, you're gonna do pretty well by choosing a movie like this. So I mean, who doesn't love a great werewolf film?
I know, and the suits and the effects were really good.
Mm-hmm.
They were done by some company. Was it Midnight Effects or something?
I think so.
Something like that. They were wonderful. They had it was they looked good, and they had transformation scenes. Because I know I heard Todd Sheets in the interview or whatever saying he loved like American Werewolf.
Oh yeah. He's a contemporary of mine, so we grew up on The Howling and American Werewolf of London, and just that whole. They're in the early '80s when all of a sudden that stuff came, and it blew up. So yeah, that's great, and it's a great throwback and a great homage to that sort of thing. So it's definitely worth checking out. I definitely recommend you going out and buying it as soon as it's out. I don't know if it's going to be out in Walmart or where it's going to be.
I would hope so.
I think it's going to be, but I'm not 100% sure. At the very least, you can go to Wild Eye Releasings and get it from them, right?
I know at least you can get it at Amazon. That's
okay.
what I know. I don't. You could probably get it from Wild Eye Releasing. So we'll also leave a link down to Wild Eye.
And I'm
Releasing.
sure if you go to Todd Sheets' page, I'm sure he's got one. You could probably find out there where to get your hands on.
You probably get an autographed copy.
That would be awesome.
Woo! Who wouldn't want one?
Yeah, seriously.
Todd is one of those directors that I'm looking forward to more of his work.
Oh yeah.
He hasn't stopped since the 80s when he started.
Right, and he has served a real apprenticeship way back in the early 90s, from where he started with the straight to video kind of stuff, and has been slowly building up a body of work and getting better and better and better. And it's great, you know. I mean, not everybody can just jump right out there and be Stanley Kubrick. It takes a while. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. He's had some bumps in the road personally that he's had to overcome. He's done that, and he's moving on. And you know, I mean, it's no surprise that a lot of people in the independent film community look to Todd Sheets and can't wait to see some more of his work. Even if it's not necessarily your cup of tea with regards to gore-wise, you're always going to find something in a Todd Sheets movie that you're going to like. So
Yeah, pretty much. So, well, I guess. Do you want to do a ranking? Do we do rankings?
yeah, we could. Yeah, I just wanted to mention, as far as continuity monkey was concerned, he really wasn't needed. No continuity errors.
But they had a script continuity person.
They did.
So
They did.
that was good. Not many independent films have that.
Right.
And I noticed they had a lot of like assistants too to people and stuff like that. Which
That
I
all
thought,
paid off.
I guess it helps when people are working on a project this much and doing a lot. And as you said, that you heard that the crew was the same crew from other movies that he's done, and he's used a lot of the same crew. So most likely these people just love to work together.
And a quick shout out to all the actors. Everybody did a really good job.
There was nobody that we thought was bad.
No,
at all.
and again, that's something that you can thank the director for, because a lot of times a director can make an actor look bad. Doesn't happen in this case at all. Everybody looked really good. I was very impressed with the acting for pretty much everybody involved. So
I agree.
everything was really well done.
I agree. It was wonderful.
So I think we were doing a 1 to 5 scale on this, weren't we?
1 to 5 on these. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna go with 4.5.
Okay, yeah, I was going to give it a 4.
So all right, so
There you go.
you got an 8.5 out of 20.
There you go.
So there you go.
Yeah,
Or wait, not
10.
8 out of 10. Yeah.
Right.
Wait, but hold on, wait. Yeah, out of 10. But yeah, thank you guys for checking this out. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at math. You know, it is what it is.
2 plus 2 is 4.
I really is it? All right. Anyway, but thank you guys. We had a great time. We really enjoyed watching this movie.
Absolutely. Thank you,
And-
Wild Eye Releasing, for giving us a chance to review this.
Yes, and please feel free, if you're a filmmaker, want to send more for us to review, we will review it. Hopefully, when we have time to do other ones or whatever, we'll review it. And we enjoy independent film.
Absolutely.
So this is a movie that I would probably watch. I'm glad to own now, because I'd probably watch this every year at least once.
There you
know,
go.
because it's something that I could just sit back and watch and enjoy. You know, werewolves attacking. I'm a huge werewolf fan.
Gotta love werewolves.
We talked about this before.
Yep.
Eventually, I'm gonna hopefully make a werewolf movie.
Yay.
So we will. It's good to watch these things, because then I can say, hey, I can make something hopefully as good, as something like this,
And Todd, make sure you give me a call sometime. I got a great idea to pitch you for a were-cow movie.
Were-cow.
Were-cows.
So,
Moo!
if you want to do, after Clownado, want to do were-cows.
Were-cow. Awesome.
Bonehill 2, were-cows. All right. Sounds good.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much, and hope you enjoyed it.
Bye.